Oh, shit. I'll be honest, I didn't even know that was going on. Huh. Yeah, it is July 1st. I didn't even realize that. I was just gonna play some Splatoon. I guess we can go do some extra work. We get our ass kicked too many times, we'll leave, but... Oh my gosh. Everything that's going on with Twitter right now. It's a nightmare. So Twitter is like limiting the number of posts people see a day. Like you can only view 600 posts a day. And then you like hit the limit. And people are freaking pissed at Elon. Because his reasoning is completely bullshit. Like it's a complete lie. He's just doing it because, you know, he's Elon Musk. He can do what he wants. So we'll see how this actually goes. But yeah, so today is July 1st. It is the birthday stream. Yes, it's a special birthday in chat. Yippee-ki-yay. Honestly, I have nothing special planned. Like, at all. We're just gonna play some Splatoon. We've got one news story tonight. And I'm going to bed. Well, we've got WIBE. I saw the new Indiana Jones, so we'll talk about that. And then that's it. You know, quick in and out stream today. Hopefully no longer than like an hour and a half. I don't know. I could see myself being able to talk about the new Indiana Jones for like half an hour, but if we don't, we don't. I'm not too cut up over it. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, today, birthday. Did I do anything? No. Listen, after you hit 21, birthdays kind of stop mattering unless you're like a white woman. And I ain't no white woman. So birthdays kind of don't matter to me. But you know, I met up with the family. We went out to dinner. Yeah, no. But yeah, once there's a Patton Oswalt bit about birthdays. Where it's like, oh, these are the birthdays you get. And then after you hit 21, they stop mattering unless every 10 years. And yeah, that's kind of advice I stand by. But you know, meeting up with the family, going out to dinner, that's fine. That's, you know, that's simple. Did I get anything? No. No. I'm glad they did extra work with randos. Setting it up last time was such a pain in the ass. Like, we did it. We had one successful round that I think earned me a bronze trophy, if I remember correctly. I don't know. I might have just gotten a participation medal. I kind of don't remember. Yeah. I didn't even know extra work was going on. I was like, oh, we're just gonna, you know, do a standard Splatoon. But it does make sense. So yeah, so the one story we have tonight is about the FTC versus Microsoft. Currently, there's a lawsuit from the FTC towards Microsoft about their acquisition of Call of Duty. It's been going on all week. I've been reading it. So we're going to talk about that. And that's the one news story, because we're in post E3. Post E3 is always the driest time of the year. It always has been. I've been doing this show for 4 seasons now, over the past 5 years. And yeah, it, without fail, post E3 is the driest time of the year. So we've got that one story, and then we'll talk WIBE. Again, we've got Indiana Jones. I got to talk about Taco Bell. And then, yeah, we'll call it, and then hopefully we'll call it there. So I guess let's get started on the FTC and Microsoft. So what has been going down? So, right, the FTC is suing Microsoft, basically trying to figure out whether or not they're going to let the Call of Duty deal go through. Because, of course, PlayStation doesn't want it to go through, and Microsoft obviously does. And there's a lot of other players in the mix. So we've been getting a lot of information on it, right? Stories from both sides. All of the information I'm talking about today comes from me reading articles by Tom Warren at The Verge. He's my source. There have been other people talking about this stuff. Like, he's not the only one. He's just the main one I have been reading. So yeah, I'd recommend, go check out those articles. There are so many of them. There are so many articles about this lawsuit. I recommend you go check them out for yourself, because there's so many, even for everything I talk about, there's probably 2 things I'm not talking about. So the first detail is that Starfield, I guess, was in talks at some point early on in its development about being a PlayStation exclusive. Because, as you know, the 2 other Bethesda games around that time, Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo, were PlayStation exclusive. So I guess there was talks about making Starfield PlayStation exclusive. And this was very early on in its development. So I guess when that happened, Xbox reached out and bought Bethesda. That's, as the story goes, that Microsoft would rather buy Bethesda than let Starfield become a PlayStation exclusive. Yep, that's very interesting. Another Xbox exclusive, because Starfield is Xbox and PC exclusive. We have also learned that from this lawsuit that Indiana Jones, that Bethesda Indiana Jones game that's in development, that is also going to be Xbox and PC exclusive. So it is not coming to PlayStation. I mean, it might come to PlayStation like a year down the line. But at some point in this article, they did mention that, like, if Microsoft were able to acquire Activision Blizzard, Microsoft's version of Call of Duty must run better than PlayStation's. Like, that is something they're going to be requiring from Call of Duty. And so I'm sure that's something they're requiring from Bethesda. That if Bethesda, right, as part of the exclusivity thing, if they were to bring it to PlayStation, it would be that, no, it would run better on Xbox. Which, that's something these companies do. Like, I would not be surprised if the PlayStation port, or the PC ports of all of the PlayStation exclusive games run better on PlayStation. And of course, modders go in and fix that shit up, but that wouldn't surprise me at all. And because, PCs also have more powerful hardware. There's a myriad of things that happen. Elder Scrolls 6 also talked about here. They do not know whether or not Elder Scrolls 6 will be on PlayStation, so it may be Xbox exclusive, it may not be. However, they did state that it is over 5 years away. So we're not going to be seeing Elder Scrolls 6. Even though it was announced like 4 years ago. Clearly, it's clear that Bethesda only announced Elder Scrolls 6 because, they had just announced that Elder Scrolls mobile game. When was the last time anybody thought about that Elder Scrolls mobile game? Because nobody liked it. But but if you're going to announce some bullshit like that, you need to announce something people would like, and that's why they announced Elder Scrolls 6, even though they knew at the time it was still like 10 years away. I mean, at the time, Starfield was still, fucking 5 years away, I think. Some information we got from PlayStation is that part of PlayStation's worry about this exclusivity deal would mean that if they want Call of Duty on their console, they would be required to send Xbox details about the PS6. Right? So let's say they want Call of Duty on the PS6. Well, guess what? They're going to have to send Xbox a development kit. Like, PlayStation didn't even refuse to send Microsoft a development kit to put Minecraft on PS5. That's why there's no Minecraft PS5 edition, because PlayStation refused to send Microsoft a development kit. And yep, that doesn't surprise me at all. There was also something in there about how, like, there was something in there about, like, how a large portion of PlayStation players play Minecraft, and how an even larger portion play Minecraft on Nintendo Switch. Like, this came from Xbox, that, like, it wasn't like 1 in every 2, but it maybe was like 1 in every 8. Meanwhile, 1 in every 4 Nintendo Switch owners have Minecraft. Or something wild. It was something like that. I clearly don't remember the exact details. But it was, because I don't have the specifics written down. But there was something like that in here. That was like, yeah, a lot of PlayStation players. Maybe it was like, you know what it might have been? It might have been that, like, out of all the people playing Minecraft Bedrock Edition, a good chunk of them were on PlayStation. Like, a sixth of them were on PlayStation. And, like, I don't want to say half, but maybe like a fourth were on Switch. It was something like that. But yeah, because there is no Minecraft on PS6. Or PS5, I mean. If you want to play Minecraft on PlayStation, on PS5, you have to download the PS4 version. Yep, because PlayStation didn't want to send them a development kit. And they don't want to send them a development kit of the PS6, because, you know, that's then giving your competitor your console specs, right? What the specs for your new console are going to be. That they're directly making a console to compete against. Microsoft revealed a document that they later redacted about what other studios they considered acquiring. Those other studios include Sega, Bungie, who was eventually bought up by PlayStation, IO Interactive, who does the Hitman games, Supergiant, and more. So those are the ones I got. But there were many other developers that, yeah, Xbox revealed this information, then redacted it later. There was also a PlayStation document that was revealed that was later redacted by... that PlayStation, like, redacted certain information. Like the fact that it cost, like, $20 million to make The Last of Us 2. But they did such a poor job at redacting it that people immediately figured out what was going on. That was a thing. But yeah, Sega, honestly, Xbox considering acquiring all of these studios does not surprise me. I guess later on in the week, Sega put out a thing that they are not going to be acquired by any other studio. That no, they are not up for sale. Of course, someone like Yves Guillemot would be happy if Xbox were to acquire them. Yves Guillemot is the head of Ubisoft, by the way. Yeah, because he's trying to get his studio bought, as far as I'm concerned. Whether it be by Xbox, PlayStation, even fucking Nintendo, he'd take whatever he could get. At least that's my interpretation of things. But no, Supergiant would have been a huge one. They make, you know, Hades 2, Pyre, Bastion, Transistor. I think that's all of their games. Great studio. I could see why Xbox would have considered acquiring them. IO Interactive. Again, those Hitman games are really good. Bungie. Again, Xbox worked with Bungie to make the Halos, and then they got out from Microsoft's thumb to, go independent. And then they got under Activision Blizzard's thumb. I think it was Activision Blizzard. And then they got out from Activision Blizzard's thumb to then be bought up by PlayStation. So they've kind of been all over the place. There was an email that leaked from, I want to say, Xbox, that basically said that Xbox could just spin PlayStation out of business. That was like, oh, we can just keep spending money. And, eventually PlayStation will just go out of business. Now, Xbox did come out and say that, no, that's being taken out of context. And we don't mean that, since the Activision Blizzard deal, we haven't been thinking about that. We only thought, that was said back in 2019. That wasn't that long. Xbox is trying to act like that was like, oh, that's the old Xbox, That was only said 4 years ago. We're the new Xbox, right? We didn't have that thought in our head while making this Activision Blizzard deal. And, does Xbox actually think that they can buy PlayStation out of business? I don't think so, but I do 100% believe this is said, and I do believe there was some sentiment behind it, that 2019 was not that long ago. All the people working at Xbox then are still probably working at Xbox now. All the executives, I mean. So no, I totally believe that sentiment, that statement. But that was a huge thing that came out from that. Meanwhile, is it the next thing on the PlayStation side? Yeah, meanwhile, so that was, right, the Xbox side was, hey, we can spin PlayStation out of business. Meanwhile, Chris Deering, who works at PlayStation, sent an email to Jim Ryan, who's one of the heads of PlayStation, and basically said, this is a direct quote, Microsoft would have been better off making an electric car than trying to acquire Activision Blizzard. Basically, there's this whole email that basically says that PlayStation isn't actually worried about them being an exclusive deal. And as part of this whole thing, there seems to be a lot of sentiment. This comes from both Xbox and PlayStation, that the real reason Microsoft made this deal was not to make Call of Duty exclusive. Because, they're missing the PlayStation market. One of the documents that got revealed that shouldn't have was that Xbox would have to get 2 million more Game Pass subscribers to, make up for the PlayStation subscribers they would lose. From Call of Duty, specifically. So that was a thing. So PlayStation seemingly isn't actually that worried about it, and instead bring up that, no, what if Activision Blizzard was doing this, what if Microsoft was making the bid for Activision Blizzard King, not for Activision or Blizzard, but for King? Because, there's a lot of money to be made in the mobile games market. King, who, makes Candy Crush, makes a lot of money. And to be fair, this is not the first time I've seen that speculated. Conrad Zimmerman, I think specifically when, this whole lawsuit and whatnot, the acquisition was announced, that was his theory. That the whole reason they were doing any of this was for King. And there was also an Xbox email that basically said the same thing. That, right, Xbox is really doing this to get the mobile game market. xCloud, things on xCloud, their streaming service, is considered part of the mobile gaming market. And they do expect the mobile gaming market to hit it, the xCloud market, to have a big, boost in 2025. So in a few years, they do expect a lot of big changes in the gaming industry to come related to mobile gaming and xCloud. Which, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of skeptical about it. I don't entirely love cloud gaming. But, you know, I get why it exists. Of course, it's just another excuse for, you know, companies to take more control, to, you know, screw over people more, you know, for us not to own our games. Have I been playing the bucket this whole time? I just noticed that. I don't know if it's been random weapons assigned, but I did just notice. I feel like I've been playing the bucket this entire time. Let's see. The only other thing I really have from this that I want to talk about is, so they keep talking about PlayStation versus Xbox. What about Nintendo's whole thing? Because this is a Nintendo show. I mean, we're currently playing a Nintendo game. And there's basically been two fronts about getting Nintendo involved in this. One is that no, Nintendo shouldn't be involved in this lawsuit. And this is what PlayStation and the FTC are saying. So PlayStation and the FTC are both saying that no, we don't need Nintendo involved because Nintendo isn't competing in the console wars. Nintendo makes toys. Now that is not, the toy part is not a direct quote, but that is seriously how they view these things. Nintendo is a video game manufacturer that makes toys first, video game second. And I bet you could tell that to someone at Nintendo, and they would agree with you on that. That's not just some, like, random thing I'm saying. That is probably something Nintendo legitimately believes. That they don't make video games, they make toys. You know, things for all families. But, so yeah, the FTC and PlayStation are saying that, no, we don't need to get Nintendo involved. Meanwhile, Xbox wants Nintendo to be involved. Because if you actually look at sales figures, including Nintendo's, it makes Xbox look like they're more of underdogs. Because the Switch has sold over 100 million units. And I want to say Bobby Kotick even called the Switch during this lawsuit the second best-selling console of all time. Which, whether or not that's true, that's what he said. Right, and Bobby Kotick said that he regrets, that one of his biggest regrets is not bringing Call of Duty to Switch. But, yeah, so Xbox wants it because, you know, Nintendo Switch has sold 100 million. PlayStation 4 sold 100 million. Xbox, meanwhile, maybe sold like 30 million. It probably is. I would say it's probably more than that, but I don't honestly know. The Xbox One, I mean. So I kind of get why Xbox wants Nintendo in there. And I want to say there was something about PC as well, that like the FTC was like, no, we need to get Nvidia involved in this. But Xbox was like, no, that PC is something different. And it's like it's a whole thing. There was also a thing, PlayStation said that half of all PS5 owners own a Nintendo Switch. And the only thing I will say to that is that everyone I know who owns a PS5 also owns a Nintendo Switch. I cannot think of a single exception to that. So, yeah, no, I totally believe that half of all PS5 users own a Switch. I wouldn't be surprised if the number's actually higher than that. But that's been Nintendo's role. I don't think, I want to say someone from Nintendo was supposed to come up and, like, testify or something like that, but that ended up just being, like, a video call. So Nintendo really hasn't gotten involved in any of this. But that's what's been going on. So yeah, that's base. And you know, the FTC versus Microsoft is still going on. Like, the case is far from over. That's just the first 5 days of reporting. And there are so many things I did not cover in there. Because there's a whole other lawsuit with, like, PlayStation as well. PlayStation versus, like, gamers or something like that. I don't know. It's a really weird one. But hey, we won a match. We actually won a round of excellent work. 122? That might be good. I don't know. That might be good. We'll see. It's good we won at least one. 41 eggs. Holy shit. Alright. So yeah, that's all I've got for that. So I guess, again, it's going to be a short show tonight because I'm so tired. I'm ready to go to Sleepy Time Junction. So I guess let's go into WIBE. So, what have I been playing? Well, okay, so I know I'm talking about how we're going to stream Pikmin 3. Or how we're going to stream the Pikmin games now that it's July. And we are definitely going to do that at some point. But I was just really craving some Pikmin. So I booted up Pikmin 1. I'm intentionally saving Pikmin 2. Pikmin 1 is the safe game. I've played Pikmin 1 multiple times. I don't know an insane amount about Pikmin 1, but I know enough, you know? So I was like, yeah, it'll be fine if I just play Pikmin 1 again. So I started playing Pikmin 1. I'm like halfway through it. I've got like half the ship parts. It took me, I don't know, 2, maybe 3 hours. I am very rusty on Pikmin 1, I'll admit. A lot of the quality of life improvements that later Pikmin games make, I do sincerely miss in Pikmin 1. But I do like Pikmin 1. That Pikmin 1 is a good game. I'll give it that. It's... the big thing that was tripping me up at first is switching Pikmin. Because in the modern Pikmin games, you just hit L or R. And that switches, you know, the Pikmin types. And this one, you hold the button to throw the Pikmin, and then you can swap which type of Pikmin you want to throw. But the Pikmin have to, like, line up behind you, and if you don't wait long enough for the Pikmin to line up, you'll throw one of the types, and then you'll just start throwing another type. Because it throws whatever Pikmin are, like, closest to you. Which was, you know, is an interesting idea. I'll give it that. It's the idea of, like, throwing whatever Pikmin is closest to you. Not a terrible idea. The problem, though, is that, yeah, they take forever to line up, and the other games just make it way more convenient. God, I hope Pikmin 2, though, doesn't work like this. Because I really just like being able to, you know, hit L and R to change which Pikmin I'm throwing. I like how it works in Pikmin 3 and in the Pikmin 4 demo. But other than that one thing, and, you know, just seeing old Wollywogs. God, old Wollywogs suck. I forgot how to fight the Puff Stool. I'm worried about the final boss of Pikmin 1. I kind of don't remember how to fight the final boss of Pikmin 1. I kind of do, but I also kind of don't. But other than that, you know, I'm having a fine time. I'm enjoying Pikmin 1. I'll probably beat it in the next 2 hours. And then we'll play it again on stream in like a week or two. We'll see. But yeah, we played the Pikmin 4 demo. We did that on stream, and I did like it. It's got some problems. It's very dialogue and tutorial heavy. It reminds me of Pokemon Sun and Moon, which, in my opinion, is the most over-tutorialized Pokemon game. I like Pokemon Sun and Moon. I do. But if I had one major problem with it, it's that the game starts off with way too much tutorial. Like, it's a fucking Pokemon game. It's not that hard to figure out. And that's how I feel about Pikmin 4. Because Pikmin 4, I think, Pikmin as a series is something that I think is easy to learn and hard to master. I might be wrong about that. I think other people might consider that differently. But in my opinion, yeah, Pikmin is easy to learn and hard to master. I could easily see some people, though, say that it's hard to learn and hard to master, but I think this is way too much tutorial. Yeah, this is like, you know, Nintendo, it's Skyward Sword levels of tutorial. Maybe that's another good comparison. But other than that, I do like the demo. The auto lock-on thing is weird. Everyone kind of agree. Like, I'm fine with lock-on, being able to press the button and lock on to enemies. However, the small auto lock-on, that's kind of annoying. I don't like that. I don't think because I like the normal lock-on, so I'm sure I might eventually get used to it. But at the moment, no, I don't like the new lock-on. I don't like... Oh, what else is it? There's one other thing I didn't like. I don't remember what it is. It'll just... Something I do like is when you're throwing Pikmin, it'll stop throwing once you throw the number needed. I think that's a good idea. It's just going to take me some time to get used to. And who knows, maybe I'll warm up on the auto lock-on. I don't know, after playing Pikmin 1 where you just don't have any sort of lock-on, and it can feel kind of chaotic sometimes, God, Pikmin 2 scares me. If I'm being 100% honest, Pikmin 2 scares me. Because there are some crazy things in Pikmin 2. Oh, I missed. But we'll get to Pikmin 2 when we get to Pikmin 2. But no, I did like the demo for 4. It comes out in 20 days. So we'll be there to play it. You know, I'm seeing Oppenheimer and Barbie the day before it comes out. And then I'm turning around and playing Pikmin 4. And then we're doing Pikmin 4 the next day. Part of me is... So, I was listening to Arlo's video on it. And Arlo mentioned that he's not streaming Pikmin 4. Because, you know, it's a very personal experience to him. And he doesn't want to ruin that by streaming it. And I do actually kind of get that sentiment. It kind of reminds me of... I kind of have that feeling about Tears of the Kingdom sometimes. Part of me does wonder if I'm ruining my Tears of the Kingdom experience by streaming it. Because if I was not streaming it, I 100% would have beaten it by now. But I don't know. It's something I did think. I have been thinking about. Not like I don't think like I'm ruining my experience with Tears of the Kingdom, but I do know that playing Tears of the Kingdom on stream versus playing Breath of the Wild when it originally came out off stream were two very different experiences. But there are some things that I am glad I did get on video. Right? Like in the original Breath of the Wild, all I have are screenshots. And some of those things, it's like, God, I wish I had that on video. With Tears of the Kingdom, I have it all. That is nice. But yeah, so yeah, even if, you know, Pikmin 4 comes out, and maybe I do my first run on stream while we're finishing up Pikmin's 2 or 3, and then we get to it afterwards, that might happen. I mean, it's a game I can play. I mean, again, we're going to play Pikmin 1. I'm playing it right now. And then we're going to play it again in like a week or 2. And Pikmin 3, I know like the back of my hand. I've played it so many times. Not like an insane amount of time, like not speedrunner amounts. But I've played it a good fair bit of times. The only thing I always forget in Pikmin 3 is the Scorch Guard. I always forget where the Scorch Guard is. But other than that, I do really enjoy Pikmin 3. So with Super Mario Wonder was announced a few weeks, 2 weeks ago now? Yeah, it's been 2 weeks, more or less. I have been kind of wanting to play a Mario game, and I do own New Super Mario Bros. U on Switch. So I was like, you know what? Sure, I'll play it. So I did. And so I started playing it, and I actually beat it. I beat the game. So first I did like the speedrun route, where you take the shortcut at the end of the first, on 1-2, then you take the shortcut in, I want to say, like, 5-4, and then you take the final shortcut at the Ghost House in World 7, which takes you to the final boss, and then you just do World 8. So I did the speedrun route, and it was like, okay, that took me like an hour or two, maybe. Then I went back through, and this has been like over like a week and a half. I went back through and I played every level. Because one of the things I wanted to do this time is get the gold star coins. Because I have never actually gotten all of the gold star coins in any New Super Mario Bros. Game. I've gotten them all in 3D World. I've actually done it twice now. Because I did it in the original Wii U release of 3D World, and then I did it in the remake. But no, in the original New Super Mario Bros., I never got all the gold star coins. So I did do that. The hardest gold star coin to get is in World 6. I want to say it's like level 6, 8 or something like that. There's basically this like shifting caverns level, and you need to take a red shell from, I don't know, probably 2/3 of the way through the level and take it to the very end of the level to hit a coin off a cliff. And that one's a pain in the ass. Because while you're traveling with the coin, you're being attacked by piranha plants and bats. The bats suck, by the way. I hate the bats. But I did it. I did that. I got all the star coins. The Star Road levels, the worst Star Road... So I did the first one on, like, my 3rd try. The World 1 level. The World 2 level, which is, like, keep running. It's called, like, keep running or something. Where you're running with P-switches. Took me over 30 tries. And I think it took me, like, another 10 tries to get all 3 star coins. Because, yeah, the first time I beat the level, I beat it with only 2 star coins. Just so that way, you know, I could save time in future runs. But it took me forever. That one sucked. And then the World 3 level, I did on, like, my first try. And I think I had to replay it, like, 2 more times to get all the star coins. The World 4 level, I did within, like, 2 or 3 tries. The World 5 level, 2 or 3 tries. I think the only one that took me multiple more than, like, 5 tries... Not, you know, not counting the star coins, was the World 8 one. The swinging spike balls. That one took me like 10 to 15 tries. Also, getting all the star coins in one level took forever. I started off with 99 lives. I went into the Star Road with 99 lives. And I finished the Star Road with like 50. I used up, 50 of my lives. Most of them on that one level. So after doing that, and then I was like, I knew once I got all the star coins in the Star Road, it would unlock like a super secret level. Now in Super Mario World, or Super Mario 3D World, that's the hardest level in the game, the Champions Road. In this game, no. What I would expect to be the hardest level in the game is is like a follow the shell level. It's like something you'd see in Mario Maker. Like, it honestly could have been an auto-scroller, and there wouldn't be that much of a difference. Not hard at all. The only thing that you have to do is there's a hidden P-switch that you have to find, and it took me like a second to find it, because I didn't know it was there, because I didn't expect to find a hidden P-switch. But other than that, the level was not hard, and yeah, I got every star coin. And then I was like, oh, that's 100% completion. But then I was missing a gold star. So I was like, what am I missing? I have to do all the Nabbit levels. Yeah, as I learned, the Nabbit levels count as part of your gold star completion. So I had to go do all of the Nabbit levels to get my 5th gold star. But yeah, I 100% completed New Super Mario Bros. U. And then that left New Super Luigi U. Which, so I did the speedrun route for New Super Luigi U, and I fucking hated it. Like, I beat New Super Mario, the Mario version of the game, with, like, 50 lives. Right? I had a shitload of lives. In Luigi U, I beat the game with, like, 5. Luigi U, I forgot that I remember it was harder. Like, I did remember that. I forgot how much harder it is, though. The game, I think the highest I ever got was like 20, but the lowest I got was like down to 1. There was one point where I was like scraping by the hair of my pants or whatever the saying is. And then so after doing the speedrun route, I haven't touched the game since. Admittedly, that was like yesterday, maybe 2 days ago now. But yeah, so I honestly don't like Luigi's jumping physics. It just, I prefer Mario's more simplistic jumping. I do think Luigi's totally should exist, and you know, I think it's interesting, but it's definitely not for me. But yeah, so I did the speedrun strat for Luigi. And then, yeah, I think that was it. Have I played anything else? I feel like there is something else I did play. I played a little bit of Minecraft. You know, I've got all the achievements now, but there are some other things I do want to do in the game. So I did do that. Because, yeah, I went to the Ancient City, I fought the Ender Dragon. I think we talked about this last week. Unless we didn't, then I don't know, I swear we talked about this last week. But it took me forever to find the Vex tablet. But I did find it. I found the Vex tablet, or not the Vex, is it called Eye? It's not called Eye. Whatever tower you find in the end cities, whatever tablet. It's like a purple one. That was such a pain in the ass to find, but I did find it. And that was that. So yeah, I've got all the achievements now. Those tablets are not fun though. And yeah, I think that's all I've been playing. I have been considering, because I bought Hey Pikmin earlier this year, and I have been considering going back and finishing Hey Pikmin, because I did like the first 2 worlds, and was like, this is whatever. But I have considered like going back and, you know, actually beating it. Specifically because that means that I'll have played every Pikmin game. And I put a little time into Bloom. It counts. Not my style of game. Oh, you know, that was another thing that Microsoft has considered buying Niantic, the Pokemon Go developers. I guess Niantic was making a Marvel game at one point, but it got canceled. So that's another thing. I don't think that the canceled Marvel game came from the FTC lawsuit. I don't remember where that came from, but it was somewheres. Oh, shit. Oh, I was trying to get under that. So if we could have flattened that guy, that would have been great. We're going to lose here at the very end. Yeah, because we couldn't hit the quota. So, non-video game stuff we have to talk about. Oh, that's even better than the last... Even though we failed at the end, that's even better than the last time. So Taco Bell. So Taco Bell, years and years ago, they had something called the Volcano menu. This might have even been before the Doritos Locos Taco. Probably not, but it might have been. And it was called the Volcano menu. And on the Volcano menu, there were volcano tacos, volcano burritos, And I think a volcano nacho. There might have been a crunch wrap at one point as well. I remember the taco, and I remember the burrito. Now, the volcano burrito was my favorite thing Taco Bell ever made. I mean, it was basically a beefy rice burrito, but it had this volcano sauce, which is basically just like a spicy cheese sauce, but it was so fucking good. I loved it. It was my favorite thing Taco Bell ever made. And then they got rid of it. And for years now, people have been asking them to bring it back. You know, the volcano sauce was my Crystal Pepsi. You know, for years people asked for them to bring Crystal Pepsi back, and they finally did. For years I've been asking them to bring back the volcano sauce, and they finally did, and it's amazing. Yep, I got it again. I got it the day it came out, and it was amazing. It's not, you know, I cannot handle spicy food. I'm not, like, the worst spicy person in the world. Like, I've done the one chip challenge, but, like, I'm not a spicy food guy. However, this is one of, like, the few exceptions. This and, like, a few salsas from local restaurants that I just love. But no, I did this, and I got it again. It is not as spicy as I remember it being. And it depends on the bite. Like, if you get a bite with a lot of sauce on it, oh, it can really get in there. Like I'll be honest, I had the ghost pepper chicken sandwich from Wendy's a few weeks ago, and that was spicier. But that's not I don't want it to be the spiciest thing in the world. I wanted it to taste good. And I think it tastes good. Is it as good as I remember it? Probably not. But nothing could live up to my memory of it. That's the thing. I remember it being Taco Bell's best item. Nothing could ever live up to that. But I do like it. I should put it on my second favorite. I think the volcano burrito, or not the volcano. I think the grilled cheese burrito is a permanent thing now. So I should see if I could get them to put the volcano sauce on a grilled cheese burrito. I would have also loved to have gotten it with as a dipping sauce for nacho fries. That would have probably also been good. Volcano nacho fries. Yeah, that would have been great. I think they stopped serving volcano or nacho fries the same day that this came out. But whatevs. But yeah, no, so I had it. If you like Taco Bell, yeah, you're gonna love this stuff. At least you're probably gonna love this stuff. But I did, and you know, I'm happy we got it back. I haven't been to Taco Bell in a while because I've been waiting for it, because they announced back in like April that it was coming back. And I've just kind of been patiently waiting for it to come back. And here we finally are, months later, and yep, here it is. So yeah, I was so happy to have it back. Yeah, nothing could live up to the memory of the original volcano sauce. But I'm glad they brought it back, and I'll probably get it at least one more time before it goes away. I don't know. I did. So the other fast food thing I got to talk about is the Grimace Shake. You know, everyone's talking about that Grimace Shake. And, you know, I've seen the memes. There are some very funny memes out there. You know, that one guy who's known for all those VSX ones did one where he just fucking explodes into Grimace Shake, covering his car. Kevin Chamberlain, the guy who was Bertram on Jesse, did one where he, like, ends up dead in his pool. And I was like, okay, that's kind of funny. But yeah, the Grimace Shake has been a whole thing, and I did try it. And, you know, I died, but I came back on the third day, so we're fine. And, yeah, I thought it's, you know, it's a berry vanilla shake. I thought it was fine. I was not blown away at it. I would rather have a chocolate shake any day of the week. I can't even remember the last time I had a McDonald's chocolate shake. But, yeah. I thought it was fine. Anything else? No, not really. Well, there's probably something I'm forgetting. I don't know. I at least feel like there's something I'm forgetting. But I don't have anything else written down. TV show-wise... Oh, we have the next episode of Secret Invasion, which I did not write down here. I literally just watched it right before the stream. I have not been super invested in Secret Invasion. I feel like people are hyping it up a lot, and so far I have not been too interested. And especially after they, spoiler alert, buffer clip, after they kill Maria Hill in the first episode, I was like, I'm not really looking forward to watching more of this. I will, obviously, but I'm not too hyped for Secret Invasion. So, yeah, I didn't watch the episode earlier on, like, Wednesday when it came out. On Thursday, I went and saw Indiana Jones after I got off work. And I don't remember what I did yesterday, but I did something other than watch Secret Invasion. Oh, goddamn, I missed. So yeah, I have not been all that interested in Secret Invasion. Like, it's not been my top priority. It's not even been my secondary priority. But I did get around to it, and yeah, the second episode was fine. You find out that, no, the Skrull invasion is actually a lot bigger than we think. That all 1 million Skrulls are on Earth. They have infiltrated all the major parts of government. You know, the British Prime Minister, the head of NATO. Tons of other people are on this, like, Skrull Council. The Gravik, you know, the main villain, is given basically control of the Skrulls. His war between Russia and America is seemingly working. Of course, after everything that's happened with Russia in the past few weeks, I no longer take Russia as, like, a serious threat. I mean, between them getting their ass kicked by Ukraine, and then, you know, having the fucking McDonald's PMC turn against them and just easily march into basically march into the outskirts of Moscow with little resistance. Yeah, I don't take them the PMC run by a hot dog company that could defeat the Russian military. I don't take them that seriously. And I really do hope this is... I know everything's kind of going crazy right now. France, revolution, and whatnot potentially going on. But yeah, after everything that's happened with that, I don't take Russia seriously. I can't take Russia seriously anymore. As, like, the big bad boogeyman that, you know, that America has been trying to make them out as for years. I mean, don't get me wrong, they still have nukes. It's just, will they actually press the button? Who fucking knows? What else? Secret, and you know, then Coulson and Talos have a fight. You find out at the, there's other stuff that happens, you know, people get killed. Then Rhodey talks to Fury, and what is, I think, a good scene. I do like Rhodey. And, you know, is he a Skrull, is he not a Skrull, who knows. But, you know, I do like Rhodey. And then the episode ends with us finding out that Nick Fury is married, but he's married to a Skrull. Whether or not he knows, I don't know. Part of me thinks he does know, because part of me thinks, I don't know, this might have just been me reading into it, but I thought the Skrull was the woman from the beginning of the episode who introduces Fury to Gravik, but it might be a different person? I don't know, I kind of can't tell. So, because, you know, that scene at the beginning might have just been introducing Gravik and nothing more. But we'll see. But yeah, I'm still kind of whatever on it. I don't know, maybe it'll do something to blow me away, maybe it won't. We'll see. And yeah, I don't think... there were new episodes of Ghost and Molly McGee released. I have not watched them. I'll get around to that in the next, like, week or so. I did start an anime, but I think the final episode released today. I started Mashal, which is an anime about a guy who lives in a world of magic, but he doesn't have magic. However, you know, because his father knew that he didn't have magic, he, one, kept him secret, because, you know, the society kills anyone who doesn't have magic. And yes, they are very blatant that this is like eugenics, that they literally genocided everyone without magic to, you know, keep the bloodline pure or whatever. Like, they're not, like, they don't beat around the bush about that one. But, because, right, the father knew that his son didn't have magic, he, like, trained him to, like, Mashal just lifted weights every day for years, and now he's, like, can just punch his way out of any solution. You know, it's One Punch Man, but with a magic world. And it's very fun, it's kind of funny. I've been enjoying it so far. But I'm, like, 5 episodes in, and yeah, I think episode 12 released, like, today. So, I'll get around to it. And maybe we'll talk more about it next week. So I guess that let's talk about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. So, history with Indiana Jones. I like 1 and 3. I dislike 2 and 4. Admittedly, 2 was always just kind of weird to me. Like, Temple of Doom feels so different than all of the others. And I know there are some people who really like Temple of Doom. And the same way there are some people who really like Episode 6. But, or, you know, the better comparison is probably Phantom Menace, honestly. But, yeah, I never really cared for Temple of Doom. And then Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I watched when I was, like, that was the first Indiana Jones film I saw in theaters. Because the rest of them came out before I was born. Right, that was my Phantom Menace, basically. Which also, Phantom Menace was my Phantom Menace. It was my first Star Wars. But, and, you know, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is bad, but I didn't hate it. Like, it wasn't the worst thing I saw in the world. I know everyone gets mad about the nuke in a fridge thing, but I didn't really hate it. I kind of feel indifferent to it. I don't know. I remember I watched Kingdom of the Crystal Skull when I was younger, and then I watched the South Park episode years later, and it was like, what? Oh my gosh, okay, maybe people hated this a lot more than I realized. And, you know, I could see this new Indiana Jones, I could see someone walking away with that same feeling. Admittedly, I do think this is better. I think this movie is fine. It's got all of that classic Indiana Jones action. It's, you know, they're globe-trotting adventurers trying to figure out this Dial of Destiny. You know, the one thing that had me interested in this project is because for the past, like, 10 plus years, Harrison Ford has just been phoning it in, right? Most actors, when they get up there in age, just start phoning it in, right? Because they don't give a shit anymore. And Harrison Ford has been doing that, except for projects he gives a shit about. You know, Blade Runner. If he gives a shit about a project, then he'll actually take it seriously. If he doesn't, then he won't. The best example is Star Wars. He does not give a shit about Star Wars. He phones it in. He does okay in Episode 7, you know, I thought it was fine. But in Episode 9, gosh, really just... But, I mean, who blames him? Who fucking blames him for Episode 9? I definitely don't. I thought... God, that must have drained a lot at the end. Because Harrison Ford does not give a shit about Star Wars. And part of me, he's Everett Ross now in the MCU. Who is the president, I guess. And that does worry me. Like, him being the... I wonder if the president's going to be a Skrull in Secret Invasion. He might. I haven't ruled it out. But, no, it does kind of worry him, right? Him being in the MCU, I totally would not be surprised if he phones it in for the new Captain America movie. Right, much like Blade Runner, this is one of the few projects Harrison Ford actually gave a shit about. When it came to making this new Indiana Jones, he was taking it serious. And yeah, so that kind of had me interested in it, because Harrison Ford doesn't do that much. So what did we actually get here? It's fine. So it's the 1960s, 1969 to be specific. Men have just landed on the moon, and Harrison Ford is retiring. He's retiring from his job at the university when his goddaughter pays him a visit to learn about the Dial of Destiny. The opening bit of this movie is seeing how they got half of the Dial of Destiny. It's not the Archegean. It's the Antikythera? I think it's called the Antikythera. It's made by Archimedes. All I can think about is I've said before I'm a fan of the Percy Jackson books, and they do in the Heroes of Olympus. They do get they go to the Archimedes workshop, and they get the Archimedes spheres, or at least Leo does. It's a whole thing, and I want to say the third and fourth books, probably also the fifth one, but I definitely remember it in Mark of Athena, which I think was the third one. So yeah, they're after this Antikythera. Of course, then the Nazis get involved. The Nazi in this one is played by Mads Mikkelsen. And I give them credit in this movie for just being like, you know what? Fuck Nazis. No villain redemption here. The Nazi is the Nazi. And you know what? He fucked up. Now he's gonna die. Spoiler alert. The Nazis die in this movie. I mean, who doesn't love some good Nazis being fucking murdered? Be it past or present. So yeah. So the Nazi is played by Mads Mikkelsen, who Mads Mikkelsen, I don't want to say he was born to play a Nazi, but he does a good job at it. We have... There's a few other bodyguards. They're working for because Mads Mikkelsen is, he helped people land on the moon because he's one of those Nazi scientists recruited by America. And at first he's like getting help from the CIA, but then he kills the CIA because, again, Nazis. And then eventually, they're all going after the Dial of Destiny. And there are some complications along the way. There is a kid's sidekick in this movie, and I thought I think his name like Theo or something like that, Teddy maybe. It was something along those lines. And honestly, I thought the child's sidekick was fine. Right. Do I like him better than Short Round? Well, he's less annoying than Short Round. I was, if I was expecting an end credit scene in this movie, I was hoping it was going to be Short Round. Nah, they don't do that. Spoiler alert, he's not in it. But that would have been a neat thing. I don't know, seeing them interact at the Oscars was just great. And I think he was at the premiere as well. I don't know, he's going to be in Loki Season 2, and that's cool. I hope they actually use him. But no, so, then the Nazis want the dial. Indiana Jones wants the dial to put it in a museum. The goddaughter wants the dial. Everyone has their different reasons for it. And yeah, it's your classic Indiana Jones. They go around the world, they come across obstacles, they find treasure, complications arise, but in the end, they kill the Nazis and save the world. What's the line from Doctor Who? Stop the Nazis, win the war, don't forget about the welfare state. Yeah, I think that's the Doctor Who line. I don't know, I'm not a big Doctor Who fan. So yeah, we could talk about all the specifics, but it's not like I say there's not much to spoil because, well, there is one big thing. But other than that, you know, it's Indiana Jones. We've done this 4 times now. You should know exactly what to expect, because it plays out like all the other ones. And I could see people having problems with this for playing it too safe. And, yeah, I don't know. I thought it was fine. Like, I wasn't blown away by this movie. Like, this was not Raiders of the Lost Ark or Last Crusade. But I do think it's better than 2 and 4. I liked it more than Temple of Doom, and I liked it more than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I guess that's where I put on it. You know, I didn't expect the world from it, but it wasn't complete hot garbage either. Is it a fitting end to Indiana Jones? I guess. I don't know. Last Crusade kind of feels like a fitting end, and then we decided to make 2 more. Plus, they're making a Videos game, which, honestly, part of me does think that Uncharted is a better continuation of Indiana Jones, because it's not a direct continuation. It's instead a spiritual successor, and I kind of feel like that's the right way to think about it. Like, do I now want a series of Indiana Jones movies following the Goddaughter? No. Did I want a series of movies following Shia LaBeouf? No. Because we just don't need... It's like making another Back to the Future movie. We just don't need it, right? That's unnecessary. Let the character die with Harrison Ford. Don't let Chris Pratt be recast as Indiana Jones. I don't need that either, or whoever the fuck else they get. Yeah, it was fine. Nice. I'm gonna talk about spoilers for like a minute, okay? So the big thing at the end of there's a lot of things that are set up in this movie that do pay off, right? The Teddy kid. You see early on that he wants to like learn how to fly a plane. Guess what? Near the end, he gets to fly a plane. There are a lot of other details like that where they set up something and then they pay it off later in the movie. It sets up and it pays off a lot of things. But to be fair, I think that's how previous movies worked as well. You set up and you pay off. So to that end, I feel like it did a fine job at set up and payoff. So that was all fine, but in the end, so they get the Nazis get the Dial of Destiny, and he's basically gonna go back in time. And I keep saying the Nazi because I don't remember his name. I don't remember the name of Mads Mikkelsen's character. Smith? Was he Dr. Smith or something like that? Well, he's gonna go back in time, kill the Fuhrer, and become the new Fuhrer. And then he goes back in time, and it doesn't work. Well, it does. It sends them back in time, but not to 1939, but instead to like 2000 BC, where he comes across Archimedes. And they go back in time. There's like this whole thing where on like Archimedes' coffin, there's a picture of like a dragon with wings. Archimedes is wearing like a modern day wristwatch. And, like, that's a whole thing. And then you find out, no, he stole the wristwatch from the Nazi. And the dragon with, like, propellers... Did I say dragon with wings? I meant to say dragon with propellers. The dragon with propellers is their plane. Right? They think Archimedes used the dial to travel to the future. But no, they traveled back to his time. So Indiana Jones gets to meet Archimedes... And he actually wants to stay back in the past. Because, you know, in the future, he's... In the present, I guess, in 1969, he's old, he's retired. But, you know, he studied this history his entire life. If he stays in the past, then he can die here. He'd be happy to die here, basically. And there's this whole element, you know, because right before then he had been shot. And, you know, if he stays in the past, he's going to die from his gunshot wound. So even though he wants to stay, after defeating the Nazis, of course, the Goddaughter knocks him out and drags him back to the present, because you can't, the big moral is you can't change the past, right? You can't change the past. Sometimes you gotta let go. We find out what happened to Mutt, you know, Shia LaBeouf's character. Turns out he enlisted is the word I'm looking for. He enlisted in Vietnam to piss his dad off, and then he died in Vietnam. And that ruined his marriage. But in the end, she comes back, and, you know, they have this big reconnecting moment. And that's where the movie ends, you know? It ends on that, like, one happy note that, hey, despite all of this, you know, you can't go back. Because that's the one thing, like, Indy says earlier in the movie, like, if I could go back, I would stop my son from dying in Vietnam. And in the end, yep, he's back in the present. He's going to survive that gunshot wound. And yeah. And that's kind of where it ends. It ends on a good note. But yeah, I thought it was fine. I wasn't blown away by it, but I didn't hate it either. I feel like that's every movie nowadays. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. It was okay. 6 out of 10, middle of the road. Would I give it a 6 out of 10? I don't know, it was like 3 hours. Every movie is so fucking long nowadays. And every theater experience sucks. There are so many kids talking. It's so fucking annoying. Every theater experience is just awful nowadays. No matter what movie I go to. We fucking, you know, we fucking save theaters just to listen to a bunch of teenagers yell, "What the fuck?" every minute. That was Flash. God, those fucking teenagers. Ugh. I say teenagers, the oldest one was like 14. But yeah, it was Indiana Jones, you know. I don't know. I don't have the hardest nostalgia for the series. But, I mean, do you expect me to, with my first one being Kingdom of the Crystal Skull? That's a lie. I saw all 3 of them before Kingdom of the Crystal Skull came out. So, yeah. So that takes us to the end of the show. Woo, happy birthday to me. I'm probably not even going to save this as the birthday stream. I don't know what I'm going to call this. Yep, this was my birthday stream. Did I get anything? No. No. Actually, a package did. I'm going to try to fix one of my Pro controllers. Right? I've talked about how one of my Pro controllers has Joy-Con drift. I'm going to try to fix... I ordered a thing to fix it, and it came in today. So maybe sometime over the next week I'm going to try to fix that. Or I just break the controller, you know? If I have not used the controller in forever, so if I break it, I break it. If it works, that'd be cool. But we'll see. We'll see about that. It'd be nice if I could fix it. So that'd be one more controller to have. My roommate would love it. My roommate would love to have a Pro controller. But yeah, I'm going to bed. I'm so fucking tired. We'll probably be back with Tears of the Kingdom tomorrow. You know, we're up in Hebra. We're working our way towards the Great Deku Tree and towards Death Mountain. So, yeah. We've still got so much to do in that game, but we're making progress. I at some point do have to go back to Lookout Landing, but that's neither here nor there. We can do that at any point. But I'm still really enjoying that game. It's been a great time. And then at some point we'll start Pikmin. We'll do Pikmin's 1. 1 and 3 are easy. Hey, look, it's a Super Scope. I bet that's actually modeled after the real Super Scope. I don't know. I don't remember entirely how the Super Scope looked. But yeah, 1 and 3 are easy. I mean, I'll probably lose. I want to say in my current playthrough of 1, I have lost over 100 Pikmin. Because I had a fucking incident where I lost like 60 Pikmin. It was just awful. Like it was terrible. But you know, it's one of those. Okay, so one of the things we found out about Pikmin 4 is that the game's going to have a function that allows you to rewind time a minute. And some people are pissed off about that. But I legitimately have no problem with it. One, the classic hard mode, you know, should Dark Souls have an easy mode argument, If you don't want to use it, then just don't use it, right? I don't want to rewind time by a minute, so I'm not going to use it. That's argument number one. Argument number two is that Pikmin have always kind of had features like that, right? In Pikmin 1, if you have a day go bad, you can just choose to not save and play the day all over again. In Pikmin 3, you can replay any day you want at any time. In Pikmin 2, while in the caves saves every level. So that way, if on a floor you lose 70 Pikmin to the water wraith, which has happened to me, you can just redo that floor of the cave again. This new being able to rewind a minute is just an extension of that. But instead of having to redo an entire day or redo a segment, an entire floor of a cave, you can just redo a minute of gameplay. It's just a more convenient way of doing something like that. And I've had no problem with it in any of the previous Pikmin games. It'd be foolish to have a problem with it in this one. At least that's my stake on it. But I'm so excited for the new Pikmin game. I enjoyed the demo so much. If you have not played the demo, go play the demo. It's a pretty meaty demo that you get a lot of work out of, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the crap out of it. And I'm so excited for it. We're 20 days away. But yeah, so at some point we're going to play the 3 Pikmin games, but also at some point we got to finish Tears of the Kingdom. I don't know. I'm going to guess we're going to be done by part 20. If I had to take a guess, yeah, we'll be done by we're at part 13 right now. So I'm going to say, yeah, within the next 7 parts, we will probably finish the game. Probably even less than that, honestly, but I'm going to guess the next 7. But we'll see. I don't know. I don't think we're going to... We're obviously not going to 100% complete it. I don't think we're going to get every shrine. We're probably not going to do everything underground. But at some point, I do want to do a big underground day where we just spend like 6 hours underground. I do have to do that because I would at least love to get all of our buried treasure. We have all these buried treasure maps. I would love to do all of them, but we'll see. So yeah, that's where I'm going to end off for today. So I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Till next time, peace.